I've been really, really, really wanting to watch this Drew Gooden video. Greed is destroying the world. So if we could lock the fuck in, basically done talking about the Ethan Klein stuff. I think I gave all of you an update. I haven't really talked about it as much as Casey Sean has talked about it. And like generally like the lawsuit, which is why sometimes people will come in and be like, you're still getting sued, question mark. But yes, I will be continuing for the foreseeable future to be fighting this lawsuit. Court date 26th of next year of October. Looking forward to it. It'll be exciting. It'll be fun. And yeah, I don't foresee myself not pursuing this. So, anywho, Hassan said he's quitting because Drew is better at promoting socialism. Good. Finally, Hassan, get out of the way. You walked so Drew could run, bitch. Sorry. All right.
I feel like for the past 3 years, I've heard over and over again that a recession is about to hit. The stock market is going to crash. The housing prices are going to come back down to earth. And
oh, sorry. The last thing I was going to say, the best way, besides like donating directly to the GoFundMe, the best way to support me, if you would like to support me, is throwing like a little tier 1 sub or tier 2 or tier 3. That is the best way. Just like having more people. I don't know. I think like Twitch measures it. I could be mistaken on this. This is just conjecture on my part, but I believe like Twitch weighs like tier 1 subs or something higher than other types of subs. So that's like the best way. That's one of the best ways to help. And I would really appreciate it. So if you don't feel comfortable donating to the GoFundMe for whatever particular reason, you can throw a little prime or throw a little sub or whatever. And that'll be really cool. And I have like some streams planned going forward. I don't want to spoil too much, but yes, it'll be exciting. We're getting more tomatoes. We might be getting more tomatoes soon. Hopefully before the end of the year, but we'll see. Razagul, thank you so much for the prime. And Bing, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. I really, really do appreciate it all. Do you have a Patreon? I think I might have one. I don't know. It's been a while. I'm pretty sure I have one. Maybe we'll pump that later. But okay. It's like tier 1 is more points than prime or some shit like that. I think it's something like that. I don't remember the details and like it's all like very vague, but I'm pretty sure Twitch considers those like more valuable or something. But yeah, so have you tried the sugar bomb tomatoes? They're so good. No, actually. This is the first time someone suggested a tomato I haven't tried. But Red Culprit, thank you for the tier 1 sugar. Thank you so much for the 14 months. And Shreddy Kruger, thank you for the tier 1. Hassan Abi's Fab Top. What the fuck is this username? Thanks for the tier 1. Minnesota, thank you for the prime. Manny, thank you for the prime. Okay, Red Culprit. I think I said thank you, but thank you. All right.
I feel like for the past 3 years, I've heard over and over again that a recession is about to hit. The stock market is going to crash. The housing prices are going to come back down to earth any day now. And yet somehow all of these things keep not happening. And for most people, it doesn't make sense. What do you mean the economy's good? My dentist just tried to get me to sign up for a credit card. Since the pandemic, the cost of living has skyrocketed. Inflation is out of control. Groceries have never been more expensive. Layoffs are happening at an alarming rate. At this point, a college degree might be more likely to get you into crippling debt than it is to help you find a job. And even if you have savings, you're more than likely one stroke of bad luck away from losing it all to medical bills. And yet some people will look you right in the eyes and tell you, I don't know what you're talking about. The numbers are green.
Is this guy stupid?
The problem is each of these people are kind of correct in their own way. This is the best the economy has ever been if you already have money. If you bought a house 5 years ago, there's a chance it's already doubled in value. If you invested...
It's sort of like the housing market crash was great if you had a lot of capital and could buy homes that were getting lost to foreclosure to whatever. 2008 was a great period of time if you had a lot of money to go and buy all these homes.
In the S&P 500 in 2021, you could be up as much as 80%. And that's not like saying, you'd be rich if you just bought Bitcoin in 1973. That's just the regular stock market. Asset holders instead of the people still trying to earn them. Wealth.
My favorite is when every time that number changes, it changes in accordance with how much time has passed. So it'll be like, well, a decade ago, the average age was 49 years old. And in a decade, it'll be 69 years old. Nice. So the same generation is still the only generation that's buying the homes.
Grows exponentially, but wages aren't even outpacing inflation. Spectacular fashion, trillions of dollars of investments cannot get paid out, and everything goes up in flames. Or best case scenario, a few billionaires get even richer. Wait, is that what we're hoping for? All right, you're gonna have to bear with me while I...
It's okay, guys. As long as you were hyper invested, chat, as long as you were hyper invested in RAM, you should be good. RAM has gone up in price like 900%. You should be good. We all did that, right? We all invested in RAM, right?
Go on another AI rant here. I know I do this like every 6 months, but it's not going away. It doesn't count as beating a dead horse if the horse is still alive. We got to kill that horse first. People largely do not like AI and are worried about the future it imposes. The wet dream that soils the sheets of every CEO is a company that's somehow run entirely on its own and they can just sit back and collect all the profits for themselves. No more dealing with pesky labor laws or health insurance or can I have Saturday off? My family died. No! Shut up. That's the eventual goal and why they're all pouring billions of dollars into NVIDIA chips and data centers and cool shirts for Mark Zuckerberg. Electricity usage has been skyrocketing with over half of that increase coming solely from data centers.
Isn't it so great that every single time we try and introduce policies that would force corporations to improve the living conditions of the people who work for these corporations, they say that we shouldn't give out handouts. And the second they have the opportunity to socialize the costs, they immediately do. But God forbid you ever, for one moment, suggest socializing the profits.
AI is still a relatively new phenomenon, so we're only just starting to see the effects of this. But the Department of Energy projects that the percentage of electricity...
Yeah, I saw this. Drew got a More Perfect Union notice. Well, he referenced a part of one of the More Perfect Union videos. I mean, that recently was from... sorry, we're at 8:16. This is from More Perfect Union. He referenced what More Perfect Union put out this really, really good video called "We Found the Hidden Cost of Data Centers." It's in your electric bill. So he even cited them. So it makes sense that they would shout him out back. You know, mutual shouting out. Nice little leftist socialist cum swapping, if you will.
Percentage of electricity used by data centers could nearly triple in just the next 3 years. And who gets to pay for it? We do. It's hard for me to accurately express how infuriating this is. The giant buildings that power this stupid fucking technology are being subsidized by people who just happen to live near them. Oh, but hold on, because they're technically contributing to the operating costs. So does that mean that they get to share in the eventual profits? No, of course not. They're more like involuntary investors doing it for free, or really worse than free, because a lot of them are being kept awake at night by the deafening hum endlessly emitting from the factory shoved into the backyard of their homes that have now surely plummeted in value as a result. But hey, at least they're doing all of this to make a product that hopes to replace 80% of humanity. It's not enough.
God, every part of that paragraph was worse. It's okay. You'll pay more in your electric bill, and you'll have less clean drinking water, and you have to deal with this constant annoying hum from the data centers being built in your backyards, but at least your job is going to be removed by AI.
People already own everything they could ever want. It's the same obsession with seeing number go up that keeps me addicted to old school RuneScape, except the only life that's ruining is my own. What they have is a...
Finally!
Disease. They have been scourged with the blight of insatiable greed, cursed to an endless pursuit of wealth that will never bring them true happiness. I would almost feel bad for them if they weren't actively destroying the world in the process. One of the most frustrating things about this problem is that if you even try to suggest that maybe these guys should just have a little bit less money, like you guys can still be rich.
Yep. Also, Majority Report, thank you for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. Hi. I'm not sure if any of you that are just tuning in have watched this Drew Gooden video titled "Greed is Destroying the World," but so far it's really, really good. He's referenced a couple of More Perfect Union videos. It's just very real. And like this is really the peak of like the most offensive part about the richest people on this planet. They're so fucking rich, and all you do is just suggest they get richer a little bit slower. Just a little. Because this was like a core component of Warren's proposed, and obviously never passed, wealth tax. Where we would tax the billionaires and millionaires 2%, which is still more than their expectation of growth, of financial growth, of about like 4 to 7%. And the rich people that did sign off on it said, well, as long as it lets us keep getting richer, we're down to give the peons a couple pennies here and there. That's fine. And most rich people said, are you kidding me? Get richer a little bit slower? Fuck you. I fucking hate you. How dare you suggest my wealth only goes up by 8% every year, or sorry, by like 6% every year instead of 8%. It's like the greed is insane. I just don't know how. I do think Singapore has it right. I do think Singapore, the way that they treat the rich people fraud, I think they have it right.
That maybe these guys should just have a little bit less money. Like, you guys can still be rich, whatever. Just turn it down a notch, because you're kind of making shit terrible for everybody else.
Now we can still leverage the value of those stocks to make purchases, you know, like how money works, but it's still not taxable because of the rules. This is how people like him and Jeff Bezos can be, in terms of net worth, two of the richest people on the planet, and in some years pay $0 in taxes. In the middle of the 20th century, the tax rate on the ultra wealthy was not 3% or 20% or even 50%. It was between 70 and 94.
God, just bring this back, please.
The government was taxing the absolute shit out of the richest Americans and using that money to provide jobs and welfare programs.
It's literally like the economic golden age of America, when we had just implemented strong social safety nets and the richest people were being taxed 90%. And guess what? Even at 90%, because our taxes are, they're marginal tax rates, and because we have tax brackets, they were still getting richer. Not they were still rich, they were still getting richer. They just weren't like quadrupling their income every 3 seconds.
The Vietnam War, which was expensive and deadly, but to be fair, also accomplished nothing. And this had long-term ramifications. America...
Every Drew Gooden video is so, it's so good. Call him Drew Gooden because every video is good. It was really expensive and a lot of people died. But to be fair, it also accomplished nothing.
Was the U.S.'s involvement in the Vietnam War, which was expensive and deadly, but to be fair, the deal is you pay taxes and we don't do anything. And you like that, right? They like that?
Sounds good to me.
The prevailing philosophy throughout the 80s became trickle-down economics. The logic being, oh man, these rich people are really handcuffed. You know, I bet if we lower the corporate tax rate from 70 all the way to eventually 28%, then companies will use all that extra money to pay their employees more. I mean, if there's one thing we know about rich people, is that they're always looking out for the little guy.
It's so crazy because all of this seems so self-evidently obvious, and Americans still fell for the propaganda.
Now, for some reason, this hasn't worked out yet, but it's only been 55 years, so the jury's still out. GE invented things like X-ray machines, jet engines, TVs, radios, and just about any kitchen appliance you can think of. In the 1980s, Jack invented laying people off.
Yes! Capitalism breeds innovation.
That was his big idea. What if we just fire a bunch of people? And then we don't have to spend as much money. It seems so simple and obviously very commonplace today, not because they all deserve to be fired, but just because they fell on the wrong side of a spreadsheet. What's that? You were 3 years away from retirement and now you no longer qualify for pension? Okay, then die. And to be clear, the layoffs were also not because the company wasn't profitable. It very much was, but it just wasn't profitable enough. See, when you routinely shut down entire facilities, you uproot thousands of lives, you create a toxic and selfish work environment where loyalty is replaced with fear, and if you're a company with the size and influence that GE had at the time, you can almost single-handedly destroy any semblance of a middle class across all of America. But this number gets a little bit bigger. So it's kind of a fair trade. GE was at the forefront.
And that's the core of every single capitalist argument. Every single fucking one is, okay, well, your life is getting worse. You're not going to be able to ever buy a home or to ever live in good, subsidized social housing, which I would be down for. I don't really care about owning a home. If we have public housing, the way that Vienna has public housing, I think owning a home is a little overrated if you get to live in a complex that's actually, whatever. Well, I've talked about, I'm not going to get into this too deep. You know, you will never have a car. You will have to use Klarna every time you want to buy a burrito. Never ever get a coffee as a teacher, or you will put off your retirement by 10 years. But all of that is okay because the stocks went up a little bit. They went up a tiny bit, just a smidge, a little bit. Just a teensy little bit. More.
By 2021, the company that helped bring electricity to America was mercifully laid to rest, split into 3 separate institutions, none of which have come close.
Good thing we're all shareholders here, am I right, chat? It's a good thing. It's a good thing we all... Guys, it's not my fault that you were too busy being 8 years old when the housing market crashed. Okay? You fucking idiot. You should have been investing, dumbass. Moron. Oh, I didn't think Bitcoin would jump to $100,000 for no fucking reason, because it's a speculative fucking currency that was only used to buy drugs. Well, you should have thought about that, you fucking idiot. Did you consider putting your entire life savings into Bitcoin? Dumbass. Moron. Dumb baby. Oh, I was too busy being 12.
CEOs make $1,000 every second while their employees have to piss in water bottles so they don't fall behind. Routine.
But did you consider that now people can make music with AI? And even better than that.
Now, we did that yesterday. I don't want.
Did you consider this person on Reddit? Sick of having to come up with prompts. Hey, y'all, looking for some tips here. I like what I've made with Suno, but now I'm kind of hitting a wall with ideas for prompts. Why doesn't Suno also have like a feature to write prompts for you? Just like hit a button that says new prompt, and then it makes a song when it comes up with something that sounds interesting. Thoughts? I have to assume that the person who wrote this was fucking with everyone in that subreddit. I have to. I have to.
I want to do that.
Well, then what do you want to do?
I don't know. Something.
Wow.
It's okay, because now we have that, okay? Did you consider that? Did you? Also, Mike, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Can we get a shout out to Mike? Almost 3, 4, 5, 6 raid. That would have been crazy. That would have been too crazy. Hi, welcome, raiders. Welcome. Mike, thank you so much for the raid. I really do appreciate it. And sorry about going offline last time for the raid. Welcome, everybody. I don't know how many of you guys got the opportunity to watch this video from Drew Gooden called Greed is Destroying the World. I don't know if Mike watched this. I imagine that he did. It's pretty good. But it's really good. It's just basically everything is worse now, but at least the billionaires are making more money. If you are interested, I always upload the VODs of streams at the end of the stream. I like your shoelaces. Stop it. No. But I did cover everything regarding the lawsuit. And if you haven't somehow seen my statement, I will be fighting lawsuit. Court date is on October 26th of next year. This is the end of stream. Hell no, we have more video to watch. But yeah, thank you again for the raid. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. If we can give a shout out. All right.
Layoffs, regardless of if a company is even struggling, are so normalized that it's just something we've come to expect. The stock market rules the world. Every major decision is dictated by this inherently volatile and short-sighted metric. And look at where that's gotten.
Lana, stop it. Stop it, Lana. Thank you for the 10 gifties, Lana. No. Haha, idiot. Text-to-speech isn't on. Get owned. No one will hear you. Thank you for the 9 months. De La Isla. Holy shit. Thank you for the 3 months. Big Day Dog. Thank you so much for the 5 months. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the tier 1. Intimate Flunky. Thank you for the 29. Roar. Thank you so much for the prime. Thanks, guys. All right.
Millions without jobs, an enshittification epidemic, and a concentration of wealth that should be seen as a threat to humanity. Even while owning everything, billionaires live in fear of losing it. So they weasel their way into politics, they influence elections, they buy policy changes, they use their wealth to reshape the world to benefit them even further. They try to control.
My favorite part about all of this, like, enshittification of everything on the internet and off the internet, in the past fucking, 4 decades, is that all of the fear-mongering that American propaganda machines have done on China and Russia, effectively, there have been 2 major lines of attack. One, China is a surveillance state and they're watching your every move and making sure that your life is worse in every single way to serve Xi Jinping. And Russia's been, oh yeah, well, it's an oligarchy and all the rich people have all the power that they've consolidated and everyone lives like shit. And it's all been projection. It's like, we have that. We actually have that, but without any of the infrastructure and without any of the education systems that they have in place and without any social safety nets.
This narrative has been used since the 70s because it's very effective. You work hard, they're lazy.
You know how happy it makes me that my tax dollars pay for Americans to be able to eat food? I genuinely can't believe Americans are so brain broken that by the idea that their taxpayer dollars actually go to something good. I get really mad knowing every time I remember, I like block it out of my memory. And every time I will remember that my taxpayer dollars go to killing children in Gaza, I get really pissed and I have to like memory hole it. Because I don't want my money going there. Do you know how happy it makes me that any of my money goes to feeding children in America? That's like one of the few things I like when my taxes go to it. I'm like, yes. I see the person in front of me pay with a Snap card. I'm like, I helped. Maybe a couple pennies in like maybe just a couple drops in the big bucket, but I got to help. That's dope. It feels good knowing that. It feels and even if all they bought was cookies, guess what? I got to let even a little bit, I got to help a little bit with this person getting to enjoy some cookies. A little bit of joy. It's like, have people really never experienced you ever like go to a grocery store and the person in front of you can't pay for something? They either forgot their card or like their card is just not going through or whatever. And it's like, dude, it's all good. It's like $20. I got you, man. And they're like, really? Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I really don't. And they're like, I don't know why it's not going through. I guess like my paycheck didn't go in or whatever. How are you not? You don't experience any joy? None? No joy. I think you might be like a defective human being if you are not experiencing joy at helping other people. There's something wrong with your brain if you don't experience happiness knowing that you've helped someone else. No, dude, I'm pretty sure joy is woke, bro. It's like, actually, it's woke. It's like people being upset that an unhoused person buys booze with the spare change you give them. let them spend the money on a few things that make them happy. Dude, I've had it happen where I've gone to a 7-Eleven. There's a homeless person outside and they're like, do you have any change? Do you have any cash? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have cash. I've shown it to you guys already, but I have like all of my cards are in. I have the grandma phone case wallet because I got tired of not losing my wallet, but forgetting my wallet. So I have grandma style wallet where all of my cards are in my phone. I have the phone wallet. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care if this is grandma as fuck. I don't care. It's got my ID in it and it's got my cards that I need. I've got my business card and I've got my personal card. And I don't really carry cash. So I feel always bad when people are like, do you have any cash? Because I literally never carry cash anymore. And it's gotten to the point where I'll sometimes just be like, do you want something? And this guy was like, could you get me a Corona? And I was like, yeah, sure. Sure, man. And I got him a Corona. He's like, thanks. Appreciate it. It's like, dude, I would also want a Corona if I was homeless. I would also want one. Well, I would want a Miller Lite, or, a full handle, and ideally, if you're having a Corona, come on, have a little class, all right, with a lime. I'm joking. Fastest I've ever given an unhoused person money was in 2004. I remember it like it was yesterday. He said, hey man, I'm like $15 short of scoring some acid. That's amazing. That is such an amazing story. I don't really care. I'm sorry. I don't. You're not going to convince me by being like, the homeless people spend their money on drugs and alcohol. Oh, and you would stay sober, Sarah? Sarah, you would stay sober. You would be the one sober queen throughout the entirety of homelessness. You could be unhoused for years and you would never think about it. You would never think about it at all. Like, go fuck yourself, Sarah. No one likes you. Sorry for any Sarahs in chat. I apologize. It wasn't personal. Sorry. I fucking hate those people. I fucking hate those people. Or the people that are like, they give cash and then they get offended that the person is spending that cash how they want to. It's like, you gave them the cash. It stopped being yours the second you gave it to them. Also, yeah, rich people famously do not consume drugs and alcohol. Famously, Elon Musk has never shown up in a fucking K-hole standing behind the fucking president being like, dog, I don't care. I really don't care. You cannot make me care about an unhoused person getting drunk or getting high. And you can't make me care about poor people using taxpayer dollars to get cookies. You really, really could not make me give a fuck.
This program is bad. It's easier than ever now to push this narrative because you can just AI generate a video of a fat lady screaming in Walmart and get everyone pissed off. But in order to properly analyze this, let's take a look at the data. First of all, SNAP only makes up about 1.5% of the overall federal budget. Less than 1/8 of what we spend on defense and 1/8 of what we spend just on interest on the debt that we owe.
And the most offensive part, the waste, fraud, and abuse is so non-existent in SNAP with SNAP benefits. For anyone who doesn't know what SNAP benefits are or is not American, it's just food stamps. It's just money that you can only spend on food. You get a card, and it's a special card that has money in it, that gets money funded in it. It's really not that much money. A lot of people, even if you have a family, it's like you're probably not even getting more than $200 a month, and you can only spend it on food. And in some states, you get the privilege of spending it on hot food. And a lot of other states, you don't. A lot of states and cities, you can only spend it on cold food. Because God forbid a homeless person wants to enjoy some Little Caesars. If anything, we should be allowing for certain types of fast food. It's so cost efficient. Little Caesars will sustain you through poverty. There are so many foods that come already pre-made hot that are cheaper than making your own food. So this idea that it's like, no, I don't think that the poor people should be able to have Little Caesars. I hate you. I hate you. You are the everything that is wrong with the average American. I fucking hate you. Denims bought by Little Caesar Big Pizza. I don't want to talk about it.
By my math, cutting this program would only save the average taxpayer a couple $100s a year. And of course, that's assuming that if they were to cut it, they would send you a refund in the mail. No,
or even, yeah, sorry, someone gave a better example. Costco, the rotisserie chickens at Costco, they're a, I forget the term, I'm blanking on it. Basically an item that gets you in the door. That Costco's rotisserie chickens are consistently like $5. It's a loss leader. Yes, thank you. And basically, it is such a solid product that they operate on a loss with, but they get you in there and then you've bought like 17 gallons of milk that you're not going to drink. But you did get that rotisserie chicken for $5. And I used to have a Costco membership. I don't have one anymore because I found that like, unless you're serving a family of like 17 people, it's just too much food. It's just too much food. It's literally like they only sell things in giant buckets. And I'm like, I don't need 130 frozen empanadas. Do you have like a pack of 5 maybe? I'm only one person. I can't eat that much food. I don't even have space in my freezer for that. Do you want 5 pounds of American cheese? It's like, no. I don't even have space in my fridge for that. And it's just going to get moldy. I'm not even going to be able to eat it. Do you want 13 baguettes? No, I don't want. I just want, do you have one? Do you have one? Can I buy one? I do 6-pack of pianos. Anyways, okay. Mayor Cat. Mayor Cat. Mayor Cat, I will be baking you later. You will be baked. Inshallah, he will be baked. And he has no idea either. He has no idea he's gonna get baked. He has no idea that I'm gonna be doing this to him later. Alright, okay, enough.
Sure, they would still take the same amount, but instead of reinvesting it into the economy, which is what Snap ultimately does, they would just buy some more missiles or send a pile of cash to Argentina. Second,
missiles, that's way better. That's so much. I'm so happy that my money goes to missiles and killing children in Gaza. Can you imagine if my money instead went to fucking, I don't know, helping people eat food in America? That would be awful.
of all, by definition, the majority of SNAP recipients fall under the umbrella of elderly, disabled, veterans, full-time caretakers, or just temporarily.
I hate those people. I hate them. I hate when temporarily unemployed people, I hate when disabled people, and I hate when children and veterans get free food. It makes me so fucking pissed.
Unemployed. Remember, not everybody who isn't working does so because they don't want to. It is very hard to find and keep a job right now. The fact that SNAP spending ebbs and flows so closely with the overall state of the economy should be proof that this program is primarily used for temporary relief. Even still, many of the people on SNAP do work, and about 70% of the ones that do work full time. That doesn't...
Also, I'm pretty sure, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure, like, depending on your state, you have to have like proof of either attempting to get work or work to qualify for SNAP. Like if you don't even have a job, you can't even get SNAP because a lot of, and again, it really is state and city dependent, to be very clear. But there are a lot of states where you cannot get like government aid, or you can't get multiple types of government aid. You can't be on unemployment and get SNAP. Or you can't be on like disability and getting something. It's quite a fucked up system. It's really, really fucked.
Seem like a laziness problem that seems like a wage problem. They need supplemental income to survive because of how little they're being.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked with Mayor Cat. But the other thing that's so offensive too is like Doge went on this entire tirade about how they're going to cut fraud, waste, and abuse. Meanwhile, these programs, when we've actually gone in state by state and tried to find the amount of fraud, it's an obscenely low. It's like sub 1%. And by the way, the fraud, waste, and abuse, all they classify it as is mismanaged payments, which can be anything from, you know, someone falsely saying that they need SNAP and they don't need SNAP, to someone continuing to receive benefits after their income has gone up because they've forgotten to adjust their payroll or whatever, or not adjust their payroll, sorry, because they haven't filed their yearly taxes. So the IRS doesn't have this updated information. So they're receiving more than they need. Or there could be benefits getting paid out that were overpaid. And that was a mistake by the payment system. That like, I don't know, like LA's SNAP payments overpaid everyone an extra like $10 by accident. So there are a lot of people... in the United States, the fraud, waste, and abuse is already sub 1%, and it's classified just as incorrect payments. So benefits that were overpaid, and it doesn't specify whether it was a mistake on the part of the state or if it was fraud. Like it literally doesn't even, and it's like, oh no, people got, and guess what? It's very easy to correct it. The next month, you just don't send those, you subtract that from how much they would have otherwise gotten. I wanted to read a chat message. I am a single mom who unexpectedly had my son at a very young age. Without SNAP and WIC, I would have never been able to pay for the necessities like rent, school supplies, etc. My son is almost 10 now, and we recently had to go back on SNAP because of how expensive groceries have gotten. Without that, I have no idea how we would be surviving right now. During the years that we weren't on SNAP, I was so proud to know that at least some of my taxes went to support those programs. Also, when I was pregnant and received WIC when I lived in Utah, the process of using WIC checks at a grocery store was deliberately so humiliating. There were so many restrictions that were unclear. It would take so long to check out, holding up the entire line with the clerk on the loudspeaker, implying that I was trying to commit fraud by having full fat milk instead of 2%, etc. I have a special hatred for people who hate poor people. I really do. And like, I don't know your situation, and I'm sorry that you've had to experience that. And I'm not specifically talking about your situation, and I don't want to accidentally misread this as me talking about your situation. But in a country where we've overturned Roe v. Wade, where there's a lot of people who don't even have the ability anymore, depending on the state they're in, to get an abortion. And I don't know if that was your position. I don't know if you wanted to or not. That's not my business. It's not my business. Please do not feel like you have to share it. It could be totally a decision that you chose, and it had nothing to do with the state. So I don't want any of that to be misread. But there are a lot of people who do want to get abortions, and they can't because they live in a state that has it outlawed now, because that's good. That's a good system. And then if that's not bad enough, if someone's like their ability to remove pregnancy, their ability to not be forced to give birth is removed, and then your state doesn't even have the audacity to give people food assistance for the child that you're forcing people to have in some states. And again, I don't mean to assume that that's what happened with your case, and it doesn't matter because your choice could have been totally your choice. That's the whole point of being pro-choice. But that I know that has happened, that there are women and girls today in this fucking shithole piece of shit country that are being forced to give birth, and then they aren't even getting assistance for the children they were forced to have. Like, it makes me so fucking mad. It makes me so fucking pissed. Like,
a job just because you're 7. Like, can we stop for 1 second to think about what you're saying here? You have let somebody convince you that in this situation, the only way to make your life better is if 12 million children starve.
it's literally just like, oh, we made the child killing machine that gives us more profits. It's like, what? Why did you make a child killing machine? Why? Huh?
So I want to ask, who is more to blame here? A bunch of kids who got born into poverty, or CEOs with more money than anybody could spend in 1,000 lifetimes who expect you to solve the problem that they helped?
But they worked really hard. Okay? They literally worked millions of times harder than you did. Did you consider Elon Musk has worked really hard? His parents worked really hard on that emerald mine, okay? Really hard. I wanted to read a different chat message as well. At Denims, I'm a single dad. I had my daughter at 19. WIC was a lifesaver, especially since my daughter was formula fed. Back then, formula was like $22 a can. And those who don't know, babies feed at least 3 to 4 times a day, so it goes fast. But the amount of hoops I had to jump through was insane just to make sure we didn't get kicked off of it. For context, I live in Arizona. It's like the cruelty is the point. And also, I don't have children, so I don't know the details of this, so please correct me if I'm mistaken. I'm pretty sure different children require different baby food formula. And you can't just like give them, you can't just change the formula. You can't just be like, well, sweetheart, we were giving you this formula, but this one got a little pricey. So we're just going to switch it tomorrow. It's like formula is very specific and it's very dependent on what they've already eaten and what specific vitamins and nutrients they have. You can't just give anything to anyone. It's kind of like, I don't want to make that comparison. It's expensive for a reason. Yeah. And yeah, that's not even talking about like allergies and stuff. Correct. My friend's kid is allergic to milk, so he couldn't even breastfeed. He needed the most expensive formula. That's insane. Carefully broken up by age range and needs. It has to be precise. Babies are crazy expensive. Sorry. I now I feel awkward. The comparison I was going to make was like a much smaller extent, and I'm just please don't lambast me for this. But like if you have a specific formula that you feed your like cats, you can't just like switch the dry food. You can't just switch it overnight because then they're going to throw up. You have to like slowly incorporate the new one. And my understanding is like babies are similar. Where like you can't just like overnight be like, I'll just use any formula. That's fine. But then I don't want to be like comparing pets to kids in a way that was offensive. But you get what I mean. Okay. Sorry. I felt like it was a good comparison, but then I got concerned. I didn't want to offend anyone. So no, it's correct. Decent comparison. Source taking care of a toddler and cats. Okay, good. Or they'll fucking shit everywhere. Shut up. Only problem to have the only way to have a problem with that take is bad faith. Okay, all right. As a child owner, I take no offense. All right, thank you. Thank you. I didn't want it to come off like, you guys, okay, moving on.
Helped create.
For some people, it doesn't matter what you say about capitalism, they will still go to war for it, even if it's not working for them. Statistically speaking, it's probably not. You'll try to criticize a multi-billionaire who's not paying enough taxes, and people will defend them like, hey, it's not their fault. They're just taking advantage of loopholes like any smart business person would. And you're like, okay, so then we agree there's a problem with the rules, right? If they're just
Also, like, you gotta love that, like, the fucking bootlickers, the deep throaters of the boots are like, they're just doing what smart businessmen do, which is exploiting the fuck out of the system, which is totally fine. And then, God forbid, this is my... I really don't think this is a hot take, but I know other people think that this is a hot take. I don't think food stamps, I don't think SNAP should be means tested. I think if you want food assistance, you should be able to get food assistance. That's, and I think we would, I think it'd be good. I think it'd be a good system. I think more people would get fed. I don't, I know that, like, to the business bros, that's a hot take. I don't feel like it's that hot of a take. I feel like it's a very lukewarm take. We'd also save at least some money sitting there instead of means testing everything and sitting there measuring everyone's income. We wouldn't have to do that anymore. That would be dope. And even at like the maximum amount that households receive, it's still not that much money. It's really still not that much money. Food insecurity leads to so many issues. And if you just remove people's, that like all of the time that is spent sitting there renewing SNAP, making sure that your SNAP benefits aren't going to get removed or canceled, guess what? All of that time can be spent on anything more productive. All of the workers we hire that have to sit there reviewing these like applications don't have to do that anymore. And the thing is, people who don't need to afford SNAP, or sorry, people who don't need SNAP to afford groceries just aren't not going to get it. And maybe some people will take advantage of the system to buy groceries. I don't care. The other thing is, like, SNAP benefits go right back into the economy. They act as if these people are just pocketing it. It's literally money on a card that you can only use on food. Okay. I don't care. I don't care. And in a lot of states, only on cold food. Oh, but yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. Matt Walsh told me that they're all spending it on fentanyl. So true. Wait, let me read a chat message. I'm a paraprofessional, a one-on-one aide for special ed students. I can't get benefits or pension because my school district has it. So our contract is 15 minutes short of full time. And that money I make, which is laughable, is too much for SNAP. I live in New Jersey, so it's expensive as fuck to exist. I'm so glad that you spend your time doing something totally useless instead of doing something really good, like making an AI that will finally make a woman tell me she loves me. Did you consider creating something innovative? And then maybe you could make enough to eat? Did you consider that? Okay. Because the lady, I don't think you've seen the lady I created with Grok. She's really pretty. So it sounds like you're not really contributing to society. And that's why you're not getting paid. That's what it sounds like to me. Also, sorry you live in New Jersey, man. That's brutal. That's the real sad story in that tale. I was going somewhere with this point. I was going somewhere with the point about food stamps. Oh, yeah. The fucking business bros, they're like, it's obviously in their best interest to exploit the system and use all these tax loopholes that they created via lobbying. And then when like a poor person wants food stamps and is trying to take advantage of the system because they're really poor and groceries are expensive, it's like, you know, you shouldn't be so excited to have free handouts all the time. How about you earn it for once? It's like, that's crazy that when poor people take advantage of the system, that's fucked up. But when rich people do it, they're just making smart business decisions.
Exploiting the system, then maybe the system shouldn't be so easy to exploit. We've reached a point where a lot of the core principles of a free market no longer apply. Like the idea that you can vote with your dollar. I get to pick which businesses I support, therefore the best ones will succeed and the worst ones will fail. Yeah, except when one company is allowed to corner the market and price out all their competition, suddenly there isn't any.
And we would have small businesses tell us if they walked into a Walmart or a Costco, the retail price at those stores, the price on the shelves at those stores is lower than the wholesale price a small business is getting. And so there are huge disparities here.
And that's now feeding into itself, right? The more dire the economy is for everyone, the less freedom they have when they're deciding what to pay for. Amazon is certainly not the only place to buy things, but historically speaking, it's almost always the cheapest and most convenient. So how do you convince somebody who's also been forced to pinch pennies due to their own circumstances that they need to spend more time and money buying that same thing from a local mom and pop shop when they could just click 3 buttons and have it magically appear at their door in 3 hours? It's not even really fair to impose that because that person is also struggling. But then the cycle continues. The small business closes, Amazon and Walmart extend their reach even further, and once all competition is defeated, then they can just raise the prices to be whatever they want. It doesn't seem like a very productive mindset to cater to this parasitic minority at the expense of everybody else. Second of all, oh my God, can we grow some fucking balls here?
You don't understand. They're not gonna like it if we raise their taxes.
Do you hear yourself? Do you hear how pathetic you sound? Okay, so what, we can't do anything then? That's it? It's over, they won? Your plan is that we should just give up and let the billionaires have whatever they want. Buddy, we've already tried that, and that's not working either. Third of all, this criticism is predicated on an idea
God, dude, finally someone puts it into words perfectly. But the billionaires wouldn't like it if we tried to tax them. But they might leave. Okay, leave. To the leeches, leave. My take, Medicare for all, Social Security for all, food stamps for all, housing for all. Generally speaking, just full funding of basic necessities for everyone. A person's survival and basic quality of life should not be jeopardized by a lack of money or because some asshole doesn't believe them that they can't afford necessities. Totally agree. Dare I say based. Denims, do you want to feel crushed? I make more 40K with a family of 4 in New York City. I don't qualify for SNAP benefits whatsoever. Like, what kind of bullshit is Eric Adams in New York when our money pays cops to play Candy Crush? Okay, but they had to work really hard. They're like on Candy Crush level 17. Okay? And it was really hard for them to get there.
Taxation essentially has a bell curve to it, where after a certain rate, your overall revenue actually decreases because people will lose the incentive to work as hard or, like you're saying, move away. With this in mind, there have been studies done by economists who believe that every country has its own ideal rate for maximum efficiency. However, the implication that raising taxes would cause the overall revenue to go down would only be true if we were on the tail end of this bell curve, and we are nowhere close to that. So if your main concern is to maximize total revenue, it's pretty clear which direction we should be moving in. Otherwise, the very metric your point is referencing contradicts the argument you're trying to make. Now, even having said all of that, I'm not going to sit here and act like just raising taxes is an immediate fix to all of our problems, because we'd still have to rely on elected officials to actually use that money in a sensible way. I'd be happy to contribute more if I knew it was going to better healthcare or nicer parks or public transportation. But if my money's just going to be used to blow up a hospital on the other side of the world, then yeah, maybe I'd rather just give it to a food bank. I don't know all the answers, because at the end of the day, no matter how hard I try to expand my legacy beyond it, I'm still just the road work ahead guy. But I do know that
But the road work ahead guy is great. Road work ahead. Yeah, I sure hope it does. God, iconic, unfortunately. You guys are being really unfair to the police. They have a very dangerous job. Sometimes they forget to look up from their phone and they trip and they get a boo-boo on their knee. Oh, you're so right. It's actually a very dangerous job because sometimes they eat so many donuts that they start choking on the donut. And the coffee isn't good enough, so they can't drink the coffee with the donut, and the donut's kind of dry. And what about acorns? Don't forget about acorns. Sometimes an acorn will fall from a tree on their car, and then they start having to shoot wildly everywhere because there's shots fired from the acorn missiles. And you guys are just being really, really insensitive. Being really insensitive. Nuclear acorn strike. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus. I hate, someone said it's called the laugher curve because it's a fucking joke.
This amount of wealth inequality that's showing zero signs of slowing down anytime soon is not sustainable. Turns out that actually every single thing in the world becoming a for-profit commodity, from housing to healthcare, is just a way to enrich a few people at the cost of many. And I have to wonder if we've finally reached a point now where the greed has gone too far, that it's now so impossible to ignore that no amount of gaslighting about how the economy is good actually will convince people who are dying because they can't afford to go to the doctor that this is just how life should be. History shows that unfortunately sometimes things have to get worse before they can get better, and if this is what it takes for a return to class solidarity, then I guess at least we're closer to that than we've been in a long time. We just need to put down our phones, set aside our differences for a little bit, and unite on this one issue. They want us divided because they're afraid of how strong we would be if we stood together. Do not fall for it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go argue on Reddit about how Ghost of Yote is woke because they didn't make the main character hot enough for me. Thank you for watching.
That's so true, dude. So true. I can't believe they made it woke. Why do they make everything so woke? Please go give the video a like and stuff. Oh my god. Channel link, please. Oh yeah, I linked it. It's Drew Gooden. Makes great stuff. Really, really good stuff.